Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. My apologies for being late. I tried as much as I could, but I had to go to my child's school to give her something. She wasn't feeling well, so I had to um, immediately go there. That was the reason I was late. Um, but I am here. I have an exciting session for you today. It's not specifically about NeuroGraphica, and I did say the word specifically because specifically it still is about NeuroGraphica. We will be bringing NeuroGraphica to it, not today, on Sunday, but today is like a preliminary session to our open drawing on Sunday, okay? Hi, Alicia. Sorry, I posted on Facebook, didn't get a chance to post it on Instagram, but I had to go to my child's school, so I had to be late. Okay, but welcome, welcome, everyone. I have an interesting and amazing session for you today. There won't be, I have just one page for the presentation here, but most of the time I will be transferring my camera upright and you will be seeing what I am going to show you, okay? I'm going to be showing you lots of interesting, fun ideas of what we are to do today. We are going to be doing on Sunday, okay? What we will be drawing about, okay? This is a very interesting explanation, very interesting algorithm, okay? So I want to approach, well, I'm not approaching, it's already been in. It's the season of miracles, right? People come from different confessions, people come from different religions, people come from different beliefs. And some people, I mean, all people have a belief that this time of the year, when it's dark, when it gets dark very early, when it's a winter time, the season of winter, I talked a lot about it a lot during the gratitude, so bringing gratitude, turn gratitude into blessings in your life video that I did the Sunday before Thanksgiving, so about maybe 3 weeks ago, probably 2 weeks ago, maybe 2.5. And we talked about how winter represents the idea of hibernation, the idea of rest. This is when our body needs more rest, okay? So for that reason, we have more darkness. That's why nature works. So we have more darkness so that we sleep more, our body rests more, we need to like kind of conserve more energy for the springtime, because when springtime comes, we need to work a lot, right? We need to usually, what does nature represent in springtime? When it's, the nature awakens, we need to collect certain, agriculturally, there would also be the time to plant food that we would collect in the fall. Okay, so there's a lot of work in the spring, right? And also spring represents awakening. That's another way to connect to this, okay? So winter time is about the time to start looking inward, the time to start understanding who are we, where are we, what are we to do. It's a time of planning. This is an important part to understand. This is the time to plan, okay? That's why now it's perfect time to start. If you want to plan a great year 2025, I highly introduce to you, I highly suggest for you to buy the course that I have. It's called Goals and Values. I also have a neuro planning course. It's a separate course. It's not just NeuroGraphica, but it's an actual constellation. It's an alignment through the body, through your environment, through the physical space. How do you want the event that you have planned for 2025 to align with who you are, with your values, with your personal desires, with your personal plans, with your wishes? Let's talk, since we are starting today to talk. I mentioned the word wishes. Let's talk about, what does the word wish represent to us? What does the word desire represents to us? Okay, desire, and for us to start understanding, how does the desire connect to what we wish for? Why when we wish, we need to start understanding that this idea that we want something in our life is not just, oh, all of a sudden I want it, but rather something that kind of already exists in our surrounding, in our environment, but we are yet to see it. We are yet to for it to kind of reveal itself to us, okay? And for it to reveal itself to us, we need to make that desire known. let's talk about the kind of the scientific background behind it, right? The logical explanation, the more kind of discussion. Okay, I'm gonna transfer my camera. Those of you on Zoom, let me transfer my camera. Those of you on Instagram, I'm also gonna turn my phone around. Okay. Okay. I think this is good. You can see. This was from yesterday. Remember we did the noting where I explained the word NeuroGraphica. I added color to it. I added some connection to it, so you can see, right? This is neuro noting, okay? And by the way, the drawing that I did, you see it. I posted it as part on my definitely posted on my Facebook. I think my social media manager. She also posted it on Instagram, but it's on my wall now. Just so you know why it's not in my notebook. Okay, let's talk about the idea. Let's talk about the algorithm. How does it usually work? Okay, the way I'm going to explain things will be through the prism of the meta-modern quadrants. Remember, I explained to you yesterday, meta-modern quadrants is the idea that every philosophy, any idea, anything that happens here can be explained to you through the prism of a four system approach, okay? Sequence of steps, okay? 4 steps approach, okay? So it's interesting, right? You wake up in the morning and you have this kind of, you got some idea in your head, okay? This will be your wish, or I'm going to call it your desire, okay? The word desire in a Kabbalistic term, I'm going to bring some Kabbalistic ideas in here to make it more mystical for you, for those of you who do enjoy the mysticism. For those of you who don't want mysticism, I will be explaining everything to you from a very logical point of view, so no worry. You will get point of view, okay? Your desire, also known as your wish, also known to some of us as your goal, okay? You wake up in the morning and you're like, I feel like I want to go visit, I don't know, I want to go on a trip. I want to buy a dress. I want to go dancing. I want to go see a show. Okay, whatever it is your desire is, start by the way thinking about a nice fat desire right now. So we can actually, when we draw on it on Sunday, so you are ready. You're ready to work with it, okay? So let's start understanding from a meta-modern point of view, what's behind this idea? What is an idea, okay? Interesting to know, like I said, the Kabbalistic term for desire means ratzon, okay? Ratzon, here, I'm gonna write it in English, okay? Ratzon, it says Kabbalistically, is the main proponent for any human existence, okay? In the morning when you wake up, okay, to be human is to have some kind of desire. If you want to drink, oh my God, I just said it, I want to drink, right? If you want to drink, if you get a desire to drink, that's a desire, okay? That's the way you are felt to be human, okay? To explain this in logical terms, this is why we have the 5 senses, okay? The 5 senses are there to take care of our needs, okay? When we talk about some wishes, I want to show you here that it's not just a wish, it's also our need, okay? It's interesting to start noting that when we talk to Ratzon, I have actually a whole course called the Neurosphirot, and we talk about the Ratzon, the Keter, it's a special Sphira, the very first Sphira, the top Sphira. It's what brings any energy into any idea, into any human life, is the idea of Ratzon, is the idea of desire, okay? Because desire actually talks about wishing something, but it leads to something we refer to our needs. Whenever we need something, if I need to draw something, I take my hand, I pick up the marker, let's say in this case, and I start drawing with a marker. If I need to drink, what am I doing? I'm taking my hand, I'm reaching out to the bottle, I'm taking the bottle, opening it up with my hand. Notice the senses involved, okay? Visual senses, I have to see what I'm doing, right? I have to see the bottle, I have to see which direction I go into, right? Tactile, of course. Then we're gonna drink. That will involve our mouth, right? The tasting, right? If I need to ask somebody, right? If let's say I'm buying water, then I need to say it to somebody, and that involves talking and hearing, not just the senses. The purpose of senses in our life is to take care of our needs, and our needs are directly related to our wishes. We cannot have needs until we wish for them. We do not have anything. We won't bring anything into our life until we get the idea that first, to get anything in your life, you need to create a desire. And Pavel Piskaryov, PhD, he's the founder of the NeuroGraphica method. He's the founder of this metamodern quadrants idea, right? He has an idea that in order to realize, right, desire, right, in order to bring any desire, he says, into realization, the following 4 steps are to be taken. So remember, in metamodern quadrants, the steps are always following like this. This is number 1, this is number 2, this is number 3, and this is number 4, okay? So he says step number 1, it's something we refer to as fantasy. Again, if you want to hear more, understand more what this philosophy represents, I have an open video. It's called Metamodern Quadrant. I have a few videos on it. Welcome to watch it. Welcome to expand your mind. I'm telling you, when you watch it, the way I remember the first time I hear it, it's just like, wow, what an amazing approach to life. What an amazing idea, the representation of what life represents, okay? So the first step in life, the first step toward any desire is fantasy. Whenever you want anything, it always originates here. This is our deep, deep subconscious area. This is where imagination takes place, okay? Imagination starts here. Fantasy. A lot of times this happens during the time when the mind rests. Most of the time when the mind rests is sleep time, okay? This happens a lot of times during sleep. That's why I remember I said, you wake up in the morning, I said, and you, give me a second, and you start noticing that you are interested in something, some desire comes into your life. It usually happens in the morning. It must happen after sleeping time, because this is the time, Kabbalistically, right, mystically, we say our soul converses with our body, right? Our subconscious converses with our consciousness. This is when the subconscious sends kind of a message. It's time for you to reach the next level in your life. It's time for you to start asking for the next development for yourself, okay? And that's the idea. During the sleep, we get certain subconscious processing, right, that will bring us to the idea of start fantasizing, start imagining. We get a call, right? It's a call, and it's a call to action. It's a call kind of thinking, okay, like I said, I want to, go somewhere. I want to do something. I want to receive something. I want to enact on something. I want to open up a business. I want to start increasing my business. I want to earn more money. I want a relationship. I want more from my relationship, or maybe the opposite, I want to finish this relationship and maybe start a new one. Okay, whatever the direction, whatever the theme. Remember, theme is a major area of your life. Whatever the value in your life is, that's what you're going to start thinking about. Your desire will come into that area, right? And fantasy is something that we can occur. During the fantasy, guys, your desire can come in the best possible way, okay? For people who want financial expansion in their fantasy, in step 1 over here, they think they're millionaires, they're billionaires, they're super duper billionaires, they're like, friends with Elon Musk, okay? Now, the next step comes, step 2, and it's called something else. It's called a dream. And for a long time, for me, it was like, isn't the same thing? Isn't fantasy and dream the same thing? So it's not. So when I started studying this, I realized it's a bit more. Fantasy is completely about this wish that's completely dissociated with your reality. Dream is a bit connection, right? We are connecting to reality. We must connect to reality in order for us to reach our dream. Okay? Connection to reality brings the idea that if I want to be a billionaire, how would it actually look in my life? How would it be for me personally? For me personally, that would connect to the fact that, you know, for me, having money means having a certain type of comfort, okay? Buying certain type of food, living in certain kind of conditions, right? So certain area of the place where I want to live, or geographical location, you know, maybe moving to certain location, certain different city, wearing certain clothing, right? Having certain experiences, like for me, it's important. I live in Orlando, so I like to go to the parks, right? Um, Disney parks, right? Parks, I'm gonna write, right? Disney, Universal. I enjoy going to SeaWorld. It's absolutely amazing, you know, seeing live sea animals. I truly enjoy that kind of experience, right? I know different people are different. A lot of people are not into it. We are into it. My whole family, we're into that kind of experience. So for us, it's so very important to experience the world, to seeing the world, traveling around, even if it means, you know, home traveling, right? Also, Legoland, right? This is an important part of an experience for us. So that's interesting. So I start thinking, what would it mean to be billionaire? Of course, for me, it's important to give charity, right? Different people have different values. For me, as a religious person, I believe in God. For me, God is the main proponent of anything in this world, right? So for me to give back, to share with others, is an important part, right? Charity. And what else? What else does it mean to me? I make it individualized. So the idea of the dream is you take whatever the mind was asking for here, let's say, you know, like a certain financial, as I did it in my case, right? Financial expansion, right? I'm looking for a certain financial growth. And I'm thinking, how would it look in my life? Remember over here, I said you're kind of friends with Elon Musk. I'm thinking, not going to help me. Like, as fascinating as think of a person he is, and I truly do think that way, I don't care on a personal level to connect to Elon Musk. Now, there are many other people I would love to connect to on a personal level, right? Some other influential, rich people, you know. For me, again, having money, lots of money in life would mean different things. And each one of us have that. We may all have a same idea. I want to be a billionaire, I want to be a millionaire, whatever it is. But the way we use it in our life on an individual level will be different. We all have different ideas for who we want to connect to, different people, different leadership figures, right? Different authority figures, different values, I like to call it. Okay. I have an important course called Goals and Values. Everybody, I highly recommend to take that course because it will put things into perspective in a way that you have never saw before. It will bring out the values. It will bring the values that you are not aware of. So values is what actually controls our life. Okay. Everything we do in life is for the values. Whatever values we believe in is how we live our life. Even if we are not aware of those values, a lot of time values are placed from the time of childhood and we are not aware of it, but we kind of live those values. A lot of people, when we ask for money, by the way, we have a lot of self-limiting beliefs from when we were children. If our parents told us, be careful, money may lead you to be vain. Money may lead you to be dishonest. Money means that somebody is a crook. Somebody, you know, watch what people, what media does to people who are rich. No politics here, you know, I'm talking generally, right? When people are rich, you know, certain ideas like, oh, if somebody's rich, you start looking at them in a different way, like, oh, they have different understanding of life, or they want different things in life. But one or another, there is such a thing as kind of villainizing rich people. More or less, it happens even in many movies I watch, even in the way ideas are presented to us, okay? Even if we want it or not, when we watch certain Hollywood movies, it's presented like that to us. So we need to be aware. If we're talking specifically about financial topic, okay? If you have other topic, health, also the same way. Start figuring out, what does health represent to you? Okay. I have a client who working on health, and we talk about it. I ask the question, is it health or is it weight to you? What would you like to focus on, losing weight or health? And that's a different perspective, if you can understand. So again, take the same topic and think, how does it apply to you? Right? So I remember when I used to work with weight, that was a big thing for me last year. I took the idea of weight. That was actually not last year, two years ago. That 2 years or 1 year ago, I don't remember. I lost a lot of weight, and the idea was that in order for us to know, that was 2 years ago, and to me, I had a problem was created in my life that had to do, with weight losing, and I wanted to lose some weight for quite some time, but then the challenge came to me in the form of a health challenge. And that kind of propelled me to lose a lot of weight. Okay. So I remember thinking about it. What is my topic? Is my topic losing weight or being healthy? And that's the way the perspective is very important. The way you look at it is the way the result you will get in life. Okay. Yes, I lost weight, but my goal was to be healthy. And sometimes the opposite. I started noticing at one point that even though my goal is to be healthy, I was losing weight, but I wasn't fully kind of improving my health issue, right? I was like I was told that I have very high sugar and I had to work on it. And that's what propelled me to take drastic changes, change my lifestyle, change my eating style, right? The way I look at food, right? That was one of the ways I did. The course was body image course. It's an amazing course that actually allows you to look at your body, look at your weight, look at your health, look at your lifestyle from a different perspective, different point of view. Understanding, again, losing weight may be here in the fantasy, but when it comes to your dream, when it comes to your individual lifestyle, your individual way you look at your life, the way you believe your life should look, your choice. You make your own choices. Do you look at it as losing weight, or do you look at it as losing weight? I always tell you, always ask yourself, what for? What's the reason I want to lose weight? Why do I want to lose weight? So a lot of times my answer was in the beginning, before the health issues, before the health challenge I had, was I want to lose weight so I can fit into a certain dress. And guess what? I lost weight and I fit into a certain dress, but with the health challenge, that was the proponent. I lost a lot of weight, but I started noticing that my sugar wasn't kind of changing the level of my sugar. Right, so I had to make different changes. I tried different diet, different understanding. I started more and more. Of course, I started everything from a metaphysical point of view, understanding everything on a different level, understanding what's behind it. What am I looking for when I eat? What am I gaining? And that goes according to everything. The same happens with financial growth, with money. When you want money, you have to look at it. What does money represent to you? Why do you need money? What does money bring to you in your life, right? Remember I said comfort. For me, money represents comfort. But when I look into money, right, and I'm a accredited money psychology trainer. I actually train, I have a whole course, financial regeneration course, and I'm planning to make a more in-depth course about money, about finances, what finances represent for you psychologically wise, so archetypal wise and everything. And when I looked at it, I realized when I look in money, I'm looking for support, right? Again, remember we talked about it yesterday when we talked about the 4 shapes and what the archetype, the representation of that shape was. And I told you, your inner child, the representation of your inner child is looking for appreciation. I mean, not appreciation, I'm sorry, acceptance, right? Looking for acceptance, right? So this number 1 quadrant always connects you to your childhood, always connects you to this archetype of your inner child, okay? Because it connects you to the ideas that we experience as children, that connects us to the beginning of life. Okay. And remember, think about it. It's completely logical. Fantasy is connected to what you experience as a child. Children are very easy to fantasize. If you tell them to fantasize, they have an easy time doing that. Why? Because they're not as connected to the reality. They're not as connected to the needs of the reality. They're more connected to the wishes and desires, by the way. It's very easy for somebody who is a childish archetype, somebody who is born in the element of the wood, of the air, of the tree, right? It's very easy for them to make a wish. They easily will tell you about their wish. They will easily fantasize about their wish. When you ask them to put it in reality, they will have a hard time. Okay, that's an interesting part to notice. But it is important to start bringing that idea, whatever your goal is. Remember, if you don't have a goal, make sure you have a goal that you set for Sunday. Whatever you bring it, start thinking, how will it look in my reality? Why do I want this goal in my life? Right? Remember, I talked to you about losing weight. So when my goal was, I want to lose weight to fit into a certain type of clothes, guess what? That wasn't strong enough for me to actually do something about it. I kept thinking, okay, tomorrow I will wake up and go on a diet, that elusive tomorrow in quotations, until I got that wake up call where my health started knocking and saying, knock, knock. You have a very high sugar, and that really scared me. Let's be honest with you. That put fear, and fear is a great proponent of taking any actions. And that's where I changed my lifestyle. I started looking at food differently. I didn't take eating for granted, just doing something because I'm bored, or because I'm too tired, or because I just want to relax, or because, let's be honest with it, I don't want to work, or something that I had to do was very complicated. I didn't understand. I didn't want to do it. So I end up eating as a result, right? That happens with most people. Most people eat for this specific reason. It's about inner fear, inner anxiety. That's what propels them to eat. Okay, so it's interesting to know that even though I thought I'm going to lose weight to fit into clothes, that wasn't enough for me to go into action. But my health scare, right, something that happened to me personally in my life, put me into losing weight. I lost weight. I started fitting into these dresses that I wanted to fit in. But then it wasn't good enough for me to fully change my health goals. Okay, also important to note, certain goals are very big. So it doesn't take just one or two drawings, right? One or two sessions. You need to have a number of sessions in order to fully, um, change your understanding how to reach this goal. Okay, and actually start implementing the steps that are taking action that will bring the goal into your life, that will bring to realization. Okay, so interesting to start noticing, right? Whatever the dream whatever the fantasy you have, bring it into your dream. Start thinking about it. How do I want it to be realized in my life? And that will take us to step number 3. Step number 3 is planning. Okay, once you actually connect the fantasy, this remote idea, remote desire that many people may get, but once you start bringing it into reality, connecting to yourself, saying, in my life, getting financial growth will look like this, having comfort in my life, maybe planning for the future. Once I said that, right? Like, look at this. I said planning for the future, but you know what? My inner self says, nah, it's more about the comfort. Okay, so I do know, like I said, I do a lot of self-diagnostic with money, with understanding what money represents. For me, money is about comfort, and getting money is about support. Okay, and even though I keep talking about the fact that I want more money in order to plan for the future, let's say, buy a house or something, investment, it's not enough for me to take actions. But if I want to talk about comfort, if I want support, that's something that will bring me to take actions to increase my financial income. Okay, very important to start understanding what I'm talking about. And that will bring me to plan. I'm going to start asking myself, planning. Planning is a completely realistic view on life. Okay, yes, it's important to have fantasy. Yes, it's important to connect it to your reality and call it dreaming. But planning is just looking at things realistically. Realistically speaking, if I want to have financial growth, how would it come in my life? What do I need to do? What are the steps? It's very important, right? If any of you are coaches or you went ever through the coaching, we know that this is an important part. After we do this preliminary part, we always ask, what are the steps that you are going to take to bring your dream to life? Okay, we don't say fantasy, because fantasy is like, you can still fantasize, like people, it's like, I remember, when I was younger, guys would fantasize bang with Angelina Jolie. It's just a fantasy, it doesn't mean anything. Having, a realistic person with their needs, with their certain realistic beauty or whatever it is that you connect to with certain personality, that's more of a way to form a relationship, right? And it's important to know the same thing here. When you want whatever your goal in life, whatever the topic, the area of your goal, is it health? Is it relationship? Is it money? Personal development. Remember, we have 8 areas, okay? 8 areas of development we have. It's money, it's health, it's personal development, professional development, social environment, and what am I missing? Let me look it up. I'm missing one. I write it down every day, so I have everything always have a notebook where I write everything every day. Relationship. Okay, so what did I say? Finance, health, personal development, relationships, family. In my case, it's family. Family is an important area. Professional development, social. Social is beyond family, by the way. It's friendships. It's, being able to, connect more. It's spiritual. That's an important part. And it's leisure. Okay, for me, leisure. What do I do to relax? Okay. It may seem for some people as part of the personal development, but it's much more beyond, okay? You figure out your own 8 areas of development that you need to work on every single day. And that's what competence. Planning is a completely realistic point of view. It's actually taking your assets, seeing what can I do? In order to earn money, you have to look at very, very practically. I am able to, right, in my case, right, I can teach NeuroGraphic Art. I can do coaching sessions. I can work with children. I have a background and a huge experience working within the early childhood, right? I can evaluate children. I can work with children. I have so many things. I can teach NeuroGraphic. I can do more than also use NeuroGraphic in a coaching way, right? There's so many ways I can do these things, right? I can go become a teacher in a local school. Not that something I would want to do. I actually enjoy this, more of a neurographic approach. But the idea is for you to sit down and figure out, who are you? What can you do? And by who are you, don't go into too much philosophy. Actually, what can you offer to others? How, and that's connected in my case specifically, let's say we're talking about money. How will you be earning extra money? Where will the money come from? The higher question, the ikigai question, right? Those of you who don't know what ikigai is, guess what? I have an open session about ikigai. Yes, ikigai is part of the specialist course, so I talk about it a lot. Ikigai question is, what do I offer to the world? What can I offer to the world? Always ask yourself, what can you offer to the world? And that would be your plan. Always ask yourself, what can I offer to the world? And this is an interesting connection here, okay? Over here, remember we take the fantasy and individualize it. We say, what can the world or our fantasy, a fantasy, remember, kind of represents the world, what the world will give me, okay? What others will give me. What can the world do to me? Okay, what can the world offer to me? Okay. And over here, it's very important. What can I offer to the world? It's always a barter exchange. It's always a way, give and take. Remember, life is all about give and take. Okay, the left hand is for giving, the right hand is for taking. It's also a very Kabbalistic idea. Our left side is associated with giving. It's about ourselves, focusing on yourself. The right side is associated with, I'm sorry, the left hand is associated with taking. Wait, am I saying correctly? Yeah, I am. I'm getting confused myself. My left side is about me, myself, and I. What can I take for myself? How do I expand myself? How do I benefit myself? My right hand is connected to giving. What can I give to others? It's about focusing on others. It's about the social environment. The left side of us is connected to our inner world. The right side of us connected to our outer world. Take, give. Give, take. For some people, one is always more than the other, and we need to learn whatever, figure out what is your philosophy in life. Is it more about giving or it's more about taking? And then guess what? You need to learn to balance both of them out. That's an important part about money. When you have issues with money, it's about this balance in giving and taking. Okay, it's not just about, money, it's much more than that. It's about the energy. It could be either you don't offer enough to the world or you don't take enough from the world, okay? Both of them need to be balanced out. And you make a plan. You say, look, this is how you kind of put it out to the world, you know. You talk to God, you talk to the universe. You say, look, this is what I can do. Help me understand, help me implement my unique abilities, figure out your unique abilities, right? And unique abilities can be, by the way, something we refer to as talents, can be much more than that. Your unique abilities is it's much more than talents. Your unique abilities is about connected over here, your inner desires, your inner ratzon, your inner setting, the way we all have a soul mission. We have a professional mission in life, we have a personal mission, and we have a soul mission. It's important to connect all of three of them together. Again, I do that in the goals and values class. We did that in the reparenting course, where we talked about the development of the inner child, inner parent, and this is inner adult, okay? Remember, the first quadrant is always about connecting you to your childhood. The second quadrant is connecting you to your teenager, and that's connecting you to your parental archetype, your inner parent, okay? Your inner parent is about disciplining. Your inner parent is about kind of saying, you know, do you deserve it? Are you sure you should be doing this? You know, what are your accomplishments? Remember, we talked about it. That's a fatherly figure, right? A masculine energy. What are your accomplishments? What are your achievements in life? Okay. And then we have something we call our inner adult. Okay. Our inner adult is about figuring out, what do I do as adult? In order to be a balanced adult, you need to learn to connect your inner child, work on your inner child, work on your inner teenager or parent, connect them together. A lot of time, inner child calls to the inner parent, but the inner parent doesn't hear the inner child, okay? Because the inner child wants what? Love, acceptance, comfort, care. But the inner parent kept saying, do you deserve it? No, the word is acceptance, okay? And think about it. In our fantasies, we are fully accepted. We are free to be whoever we are. We are not forced to kind of go according to the reality, be what our parents want us to be. Our parents want us to be what? Very practical. You know, remember the typical parental archetype is, you know, are you being practical? You know, when teenagers, like when they go to college, right? When people graduate school and they go to college, it's like, what's your major? Are you being practical? Oh, no, you cannot be an artist major, or you cannot be, I don't know, even a psychologist, right? I remember people tell me, how can you be a psychologist? You know, that's not practical. You don't earn money, you know, it's like, it's not a very valuable, it's not a very monitor. Like, how are you going to make earning? How will you make living? How will you earn for your livelihood? And those are very valid points, I must be honest with you. But it's important for you guys to connect the inner child who's concerned with fantasy, imagination, listening to your desire, listening to certain call, wanting to do things, you know, exploring oneself, and connecting it to the practical part of who you are. How does this, let's say, how does being an artist can be practical endeavor in your life? This is a very important part. Most people, when they go into some creative or artistic professions, they kind of disconnect it and they kind of say, you know, I expect the fact that I'm not going to make money, so it is what it is, you know? And that's the idea. The idea is for us to learn to connect both the practical part of who we are and the imaginative part of who we are, connected together, and then we have balanced adults. Adults who know what they can offer to the world, adults who know what are their unique abilities and talents, adults who look at the desire and don't think, oh boy, imagination is for children. Oh boy, you know what? That's way beyond my capabilities. I could never pull that off. I could never be a billionaire. Why am I even wasting my time fantasizing about it? Notice the word fantasizing, because fantasy, it's true, it's over here. It's not grounded. It wasn't realistic enough for this person. The person doesn't even try to see their desires and take steps. Planning is about making a plan, saying step number one, I'm going to do, okay? Plan your steps. Step number one, step number two, step number three to achieve your goal. You need to be a certain type of a realistic, you know, people who are born under the element of earth and metal, they are the kind of people over here. They're very grounded. If you ask them, how do I achieve this goal? They will be able to give you a plan. They're the ones who do planning, they do structure. They're great people for structurization, any system, any ideas, right? Those people are great for bringing new, unusual ideas in your world. The people over here are fire element, right? They're the ones who, what is fire about? About passion, kind of putting passion into your desire, whatever the idea you brought in the world. But then you need to bring it to fool it into the realistic endeavor. Okay, a realistic point of view. What are the steps? How can you reach your goal? Can you tell me the steps? You should be able to do this. You need to say, okay, step number one, right? Let's say even like doing live sessions. Step number one, I have to plan out what my live sessions will be. Step number two, I have to figure out how will I go? Which platform will I go? Do you have Zoom? Like, let's say I have a Zoom membership, of course, right? Now I'm thinking I might be doing live going on YouTube on Sunday. By the way, I'm going live on YouTube. If you're interested in a link to go to my YouTube live, welcome to text me, PM me, email me. I'll be happy to send it to you. This is the way realistically any realization works like that. You need to look at things realistically. And then comes over here the last part, which we call the actual realization. Okay, realization. The realization occurs here. This is life. This is reality. This is where we start understanding and saying, okay, look, I started with some desire, but then I adapted that desire to my personal needs and values and wants and how it's connected to my social environment, how it's connected to my family. Remember, always think, will it benefit not just me, but also benefit my family, benefit the friends, Friends, you have to be careful. A lot of times people, by the way, money has something to do with it. A lot of people say they become rich, but then, they lose their friends because friends start being jealous or friends start asking them for money. And they feel like, oh, my friendship, I don't want to have friendship just based on the money. So it's a lot of interesting ideas here. You win and you lose. Always remember that, okay? And then you go into the adulthood, right? Where you start thinking, I actually plan. And then you start actually taking actions, okay? Realization is taking actions, seeing results. Very important to see results. A lot of times people devalue their result. They see result, but they don't give enough value. And as a result, they don't go further. Like they take the first results and then they say like, oh, but I am not, let's say, like I said, the fantasies, most people, I think almost all people, right? To become billionaires. But they don't understand that you can't just become billionaire overnight. Never works like that. Okay. You have to grow step by step, slowly. The best way to grow is 10 to 20% every single month. Okay. If you're making $10,000 or $1,000 or $5,000 this month, okay, let's take an example. I'm taking 10,000 because it's an easier number. $10,000 this month, and next month you grow 10%. That would be $100. No, $1,000 for 10,000. Okay. So the next month you're gonna get, I know it is $100, right? Am I correct? Let me do. So 10% of it will be, no, it is $1,000. So let's say next month you get 11,000, right? And the month afterwards, remember, you are growing yourself 10% of each month. So it's not 1,000, but rather 1,100, okay? So you end up growing for 1210. Okay, and so on and so forth. You can do this for the whole year. Okay, if that's something you're interested, by the way, I can actually create a class. We can do a workshop in January, in the beginning of January, very like the first week of January, where we can sit down and plan out, do a financial regeneration, a financial expansion for the whole year 2025, where we plan out how we grow each month and do it neurographically, meaning connected to, to our future through the amazing method of the NeuroGraphic. And that's the idea, seeing results, important, accepting results, taking results, saying, yes, thank you, God, I deserve it, giving gratitude and taking responsibility, saying, yes, I see money, I'm going to give charity part of it, and I'm going to use it for what I plan to use, comfort, charity, support, give myself some support, For some people, support might be putting money away in savings. That's support, by the way. Okay. And that's an interesting part. Seeing results, accepting. And then, most important part, don't stop. Go further. Set the next sub-step in your goal and go further. Go further. Okay. Keep going step by step by step until you reach your goal. And once you reach your goal, start making the next goal. Expand. Go further. Always growth. Okay. Growth is one of the most important things in our life. And that's, remember, when we can make more goals, it's about desire, connecting to this desire, understanding that we need to constantly have desires. Allow yourself to have desires. Yes, even in some fantasy, even something that you would think has nothing to do with my life, it's remote. That fantasy may come into your life, kind of, adjust itself, adopt itself to your reality, and turn into something amazing. Okay, that's what happened with me in the NeuroGraphica. At one point, I stopped working with children. I was like, I want to do something different. I want to do something new. And I started searching. I started praying. I started saying, please, God, give me some idea. What do I want to do? I want to do something else in my life, right? But I've been wanting to be a psychologist for a long period of time, and it kind of kept taking me back. I actually seriously considered and researched becoming an art therapist. I had little kids back then in life, and I'm like, no, art therapy programs were mostly all very full-time. Like, you have to work full-time and you have to do practical work. And it's like, was not what? Realistic, right? Remember, I had a fantasy art therapy, but it wasn't realistic for me. And that's when I discovered, and that's when I believe it was around the same time Pavel created the NeuroGraphica method. Yes, I'm going to take it individually. He created it for me. And that's how you should be thinking about everything in your life. Guess what? God, okay, if you're not a religious person, you can say universe. I'm going to say God, I'm religious. God created this world for me. And every single opportunity I get in life is because God sent that opportunity to me. So yes, I'm going to take it like that. I think Pavel Piskarev created the NeuroGraphica method for me personally. But then, if you love NeuroGraphic, you can look at it and see why, maybe even write it down. Why was NeuroGraphica created for you? Why did Pavel Piskarev create NeuroGraphica method for you? Okay, learn to see. Remember, we did this. Gratitude, turn gratitude into blessing. I say thank you to Pavel Piskarev. I turn into blessing. I say thank you to God for bringing a certain idea, a certain, kind of fantasy into my world, and then it turns into a dream. I start seeing how it adapted. I'm telling you, it took me quite some time to see how NeuroGraphica would fit into my life. But once it came to me, it took me also like about 5-6 months. And then I decided, but I kept thinking, going back and forth, and I finally decided, yes, I definitely want to become an instructor. Was not easy. Anybody who is becoming instructor, have students who became specialists with me, and now they're becoming instructors. They keep telling me what a very, very intensive program. Very, very intensive. And yeah, I know what they're talking about. It's very hard, but it's completely worthwhile because this is my passion. This is something I enjoyed. It kind of connected everything that I enjoy about who I am and what life represents to me, what the world represents to me. It put it together. Okay, it has religion, it has mysticism, it has Kabbalism, Kabbalistic idea, it has psychology, it has coaching. We talked about it. I talked about it last week, exactly a week ago, on Thursday's session of the NeuroGraphica presentation, what NeuroGraphica encompasses, okay? It brings us the realistic approach, and it brings a spiritual approach to me, and that's what I love it, okay? So start looking at things this way, okay? Start understanding what is your desire, start connecting to your desire, start figuring out what would be your goals for Sunday. Is it going to be just a general idea? I want to draw about health. Remember, we have 8 areas of general ideas, right? If you want to figure out the 8 areas, all you have to do is Google the wheel of balance. It will give you 8 general areas of life that we all look for development. Okay, and then you figure out which one you need more than the other. And you can have a specific goal also. You can say, I specifically am looking to get an increase in my financial, I want a financial expansion of this amount of money that I want to do for year 2025. I just now thinking maybe I'll do that workshop. We can do a workshop. I'll try to see and schedule it for the beginning of January. And I'm going to invite you to come and join me for the workshop. In general, I want to schedule one workshop a month. It will be a paid workshop. You know, it's not going to be an open stream. But it will be a very practical, hands-on kind of workshop where we will work on figuring out how can we financial, and that will be specifically a financial goal, by the way. It's not health, it's not anything, it's money. You will take your specific, how much you're earning now and how much you want to grow, and I will lead you both logically in explaining it to you and through the NeuroGraphica certain algorithms where we will learn, we will draw together, and I might actually involve the constellation system, the alignment, where we will work with it within, you know, on a physical, on a body level also, okay? Yeah, that's it. Okay, I have a little more. I will tell you a bit more on Sunday also. On Sunday, we'll talk about what's the algorithm for a miracle. And we will talk about this, you know, the idea of desire, fantasy, dream, plan, and realization. Okay, and next week, we're going to talk more. I will give you more understanding about what I just told you, more expansion, actual connection to what we did yesterday. Remember different shapes, different archetypal understanding of who we are. We will connect to that. Okay, I will make 1 or 2 sessions next week also explaining to you. I will actually maybe do an intro to the butterfly effect course, which talks about how to take your desire and wishes into realized goals that actually become realized in your life, okay? This, what I just explained today, is connected to that and connected to the Neuro Miracles course. Okay, the Neuro Miracles course, I have it available on my website. My website is NeuroGraphicaUSA.com. Welcome to visit my website. Welcome to find, you know what, I will make a video on how to find this. Some people tell me I go to a website. Honestly, it's very straightforward. You go to my website, scroll down, you will see the fusion courses, and that one of them will be the Neuro Miracles course. The other one will be the butterfly effect. The butterfly effect, you can also become a trainer. Okay, you can actually become a leader for the course. Okay. And that's about it. I hope you enjoyed today's course. I hope you enjoyed this interesting understanding, you know, and insight into how do you take any desire, any idea, start going them through a series of sequence of steps. And it's like this, you know, like mental representation, logical explanation, how to turn anything into a realized goal. Okay. Now, if you want to do this in real life, join me for a drawing on Sunday. If you want to go further, buy one or both courses, the Neuro Miracle course and the Butterfly Effect course, okay? Both are great. The Neuro Miracle is more mystical, kind of. The Butterfly Effect is more practical, hands-on, okay? So it depends what you enjoy. If you're asking me, you know, I already foresee people will be asking, which one do you recommend, one or the other? So Butterfly Effect is definitely a hands-on approach. I will talk more about it next week. Okay, this week I'm going to do the miracles algorithm, but next week I'm going to take the time and I will give you the explanation of what the butterfly effect involves, why it's an amazing course to come with a goal and your wish will turn, your desire, your wishes will become a reality. It's has been a proven effect that works. I always do it. I always, whenever I reach once for something, I always use this algorithm and it has amazing results. Okay. Thank you for today's, thank you for your attention today. I would love to hear back from you. Let me know, how did you enjoy the session? How did you enjoy today's live stream? Thank you, Alessia, for joining me, even though I was late. I appreciate you guys waiting and joining me. I'm wishing you a beautiful day or night ahead. Looking forward to seeing you on Sunday. I will probably go on Instagram. I will go live. Facebook, I will not go live. I will be going live on YouTube because I realize it's a much better way for people to find me. A lot of times on Facebook, people tell me I can't find you live. On YouTube, you will definitely be able to find me. Okay, guys? Wishing you a beautiful day ahead. Goodbye, everybody.